What's up, everybody? We're back for another Let Me Cook, Let Him Cook, whatever we're calling it. Tonight's going to be a shorter stream. I'm just going to put together some ingredients for a Thai curry that's made in the crock pot, so I'm really going to make it tomorrow. But tonight we're going to prep the vegetables and just kind of chill and talk. I don't have a whole lot of new content to share with you. I've got a music video shoot coming up on Sunday night, so we can chat a little bit about that. Nearly finished with just about everything for the album, but really having to stay on top of things. But for now, I'm just going to get my ingredients together, start chopping some vegetables, and get to it. I'm live on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube, so if it takes me a moment to get to your comment, it's because I'm juggling 3 screens over here. Okay, I'm going to break this stuff out. Tonight, we are making, for tomorrow, some Thai curry. Typically, you're supposed to make this in a pan, right there and then. I prefer to do it in the crock pot because it's a little less work and I can get the chicken really tender by slow cooking it all day long. So we're going to get our ingredients together. Got our frozen chicken thighs. You can buy them fresh and not frozen if you want. I do them frozen because I'm going to let this defrost in the fridge in the crock pot overnight. Couple of these pre-made packets of Thai curry. It's really meant to be a simmer sauce with 2 cans of coconut milk. We'll put all those things together in our crock pot. And then I've got my vegetables. Got a potato. Got a red pepper. And we're going to prep some onion, which you know how I feel about onions. I have a very particular relationship with onions, and then I have some carrots. So I'm going to start off by cleaning off my vegetables. Let's grab my vegetable brush here. I'm going to chop 2 carrots. I don't know if I'm going to need both. I'm doubling my recipe. I'm really going to try and stretch this out over the week because I've been working on so much music lately. I just got back from rehearsal. I'm finishing up production and mixes on the last couple of tracks on the album right now. So taking time to cook is not at the top of my priority list. So if I can make a really big batch and it'll last me for days, that's perfect. Make sure you sound off as you jump into the chat. Like I said, I am looking at 3 different channels right now: YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. So say hello. And forgive me, TikTok and YouTube, I don't think you guys can even see what I'm doing. Let me lower those cameras a little bit for you. It's the whole thing. There we go. There's YouTube fixed. And then let's see what I can do for TikTok over here. Yeah, that's better. Carrots next. I know this is a different night of the week than usual. That might be the case sometimes. I think it'll be the case next week too. So just keep an eye on my story. I typically, the day of, will let you know when one of these is coming up. Those of you who don't know Sarah Clodfelter has a new song coming out at midnight. I've known about this one for, gosh, the better part of maybe not a full year, but maybe at least the last 6 months. So congratulations to her. If she jumps in here, I'll make sure to shout her out. that's good. And then we already know that our onion is clean. So let's kind of put the ingredients for the broth together in the crock pot first, and then just kind of get that out of the way and set it to the side. And actually, let's drop our chicken in there too. Since we're doubling our recipe, I think originally we would have used a pound of chicken, so we're going to use 2. Yeah, we're going to use 2 pounds of chicken. So we've got our simmer sauce. We have our coconut milk. We've washed our vegetables over here. Got our chicken thighs, and we're just going to kind of create this Thai curry sauce / broth. Drop the chicken in it and let it defrost overnight in the fridge in the crock pot bowl. And if I need a little bit more substance in there, I can add some chicken broth. I don't love doing that. It kind of dilutes the flavor of the seasoning a little bit, but it's better than water, you know. Jared just hopped on to say you're awesome. Have a good night, bro. Jared, thank you very much, man. You too. Have a good night. I know I started a little later tonight. Like I said, this is going to be a bit shorter than usual because I have some other stuff to do as well. And this doesn't take that long to put together. We'll have some time to chat while I chop vegetables. Kicking lights over here. There's one really exciting track that's nearly finished for the record. I was having conversations with some people recently. I've known this for a while, but more recently have I been able to articulate it, that my music really falls into 3 categories, right? You have just straight ahead pop, kind of electronic stuff like Beautiful Dream, Living Lovely, love those songs. You have kind of the CCM / worship stuff, things like Kingdoms Are Watching or This Love. And then you have the alternative pop, which is a little grittier, a little heavier, a little bit more rock influenced. And there's a track on the upcoming album that nobody's heard yet that is really in that alt pop realm that I'm super excited about. Working with Jacob on it, so there is a ton of orchestral and just cinematic movie sounding stuff all throughout the song. And I love that. That really does something for me. You don't have to necessarily get these packets of the pre-made sauce. You can get red curry paste as well in jars. I think that might be a little bit more suited to if you're going to do this in a pan with some oil and fry it off the cuff. But again, we're doing this crock pot style, so I want to make a little bit more of a soupy broth so we can submerge our chicken in it and let that defrost overnight. I might whisk it together though. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to break out the whisk. Make sure if you're in the stream, you say hello. Just hanging out. Not a whole lot to talk about tonight. If you've read something in the Bible recently that stands out to you, I'd love to hear about it. I'm behind on my movies. I haven't seen the new Tron yet. I've heard that Predator Badlands is actually really good. So I'll have to see if I can catch that sometime. But I've been so go that like actually going to the movies has not really been on my radar for a minute. Not gonna lie, this is on in the background while I read Naruto. Dude, back in the day when I was in middle school, I used to read Naruto online, like when those original seasons were still just coming out. And that's a very nerdy thing for me to admit here. Did I mention I go to the gym regularly too? Let me just make sure I make you aware. But when Rock Lee dropped the weights for the first time, I was deeply inspired. Hey, what's up? My Uncle John is on in YouTube. Good to hear from you. I'm making some crock pot Thai curry. Gonna let it defrost in the fridge overnight. And just kind of talking with folks across Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok about some stuff with the upcoming album. Music video shoot this weekend, second part of a shoot we did a few weeks ago. And I did some location scouting for it earlier this week. So if you've been watching my Instagram, you saw some pictures from one of the locations that we scouted out a few days ago. So shoot in just a few days. Then I just got back from a rehearsal playing electric guitar and singing. We're not with the main church that I'm with down here, not with EMIC, but with a different church where a friend of mine works, and she'll bring me in from time to time to help out there. So just got back from that rehearsal for Sunday morning. There is our red curry sauce. We're going to whisk that together with our coconut milk. That will be our marinade that the chicken thighs will sit in overnight. No spoilers, I'm on volume 20 right now. Honestly, I didn't even get that far. That's about how far I got, was like when Rock Lee fought Gara for the first time. And I've been meaning to go back and actually watch the show, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. So, Nathan, you're probably farther ahead than I am. But I remember sitting there in my basement with my like cathode ray big deep monitor reading Naruto online, because you couldn't, you couldn't find it over here. This is like 15 plus years ago. Oh, where is my whisk? Where is my whisk? There it is. Combine those things together. Get that looking more like a Thai curry. There we go. It's nice and red. I'm gonna weigh out a couple pounds of chicken here. So I'm gonna grab the kitchen scale. See, that song is a reference that I don't think people are really getting anymore. I riff on it all the time, but it's the Out of the Box theme from like PBS from a long time ago. Out of the box, out of the box. I don't think people even know what that is. I didn't even watch that show as a kid, but you know how sometimes you hear a theme and it lives rent free in your head because music tends to do that? I don't think I've ever weighed food while cooking, Jacob says. Definitely thought it was, oh, where is my hairbrush? Oh, no, oh, where is my hairbrush? That's in a minor key. The Out of the Box theme is definitely in a major key. Yeah, no, Jacob, I was just telling them about the track we've been working on. I just put a new mix in the box for you to check out, by the way. I thought I had uploaded it earlier, but I guess the Dropbox upload didn't go through. Yeah, I weigh it out because this is 3 pounds, supposed to be 3 pounds of chicken thighs. So I don't want to use too much. I want to use precisely 2/3 of it so that I have a pound left for some recipe later on. Where is the Dropbox? It's the link that I've been putting the other mixes in. If you need me to resend it, I can. I definitely can. I like to use chicken thighs instead of chicken breast. I think that I just favor dark meat. I feel like it gets more tender. Chicken breast seems like almost no matter what you do, it always seems like it ends up kind of tasting and feeling dry to me. Yeah, this is I'm gonna max out my small crock pot here. That's 24 ounces, dude. So 2 pounds would be 32 ounces, right? I need pounds. Okay, maybe I can add one more piece here. That's about 2 pounds. Okay, now the trick is all of it going to fit? Or do I need to add a little bit of chicken broth to this? We're about to find out. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to. Already putting that first piece in is telling me this is going to be a tight fit. We need a little bit more liquid to submerge all of this. Oh, where is the Dropbox? Okay, I got it. Yeah, I need the emojis, man. The emojis are a key. They're the hieroglyphs of the future. Someone's gonna find an emoji scrawled on a cave wall someday. Yeah. Okay, so all my chicken thighs are almost submerged. It's not perfect. So I think I'm going to fudge this with a teensy bit of chicken broth. I don't want to put too much in. The chicken broth does tend to make things more savory than I feel like you usually want for a red Thai curry, which you usually want to be sweet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of chicken broth, and I'm just going to add some white sugar, some confectioner's sugar to this. Because I'm using unsweetened coconut milk to begin with. So there's not a lot of sugar content in this, but Thai curry is typically supposed to be a little sweeter. So I'm going to add some sugar, especially since some saltiness is going to be added by this touch of chicken broth I'm throwing in. Yeah. And I may not actually have needed to do that if I was using sweetened coconut milk, but I buy it unsweetened just so that I can kind of control my levels. Okay, that's more than I even wanted to add, but I think that should be fine. Let's get some sugar and get that in there. Oh, where is my Dropbox? Where is my Dropbox? Where? I changed keys. Oh, where? That's my tonic, is my Dropbox. Oh, where? I don't remember exactly how the rest of the melody goes. I know he eventually gets a where is my Dropbox. But I think I just changed keys again. There's a monologue from one of the Silly Songs with Larry. I'm making double sure this is sugar. I don't want to put a bunch of salt in there. Yeah, that's sugar. No, there's a monologue from one of the Silly Songs that I use as a mic check all the time. And it's from I Love My Lips. I'm going to do 2 spoonfuls, especially since we doubled the recipe. Honestly, it could actually probably use more, but I'll be able to gauge that tomorrow once everything is heated up and I can kind of taste as we go. So just a little bit to get things going. Work that stuff with the whisk a little bit. It's harder because the whole thing's basically full of chicken now, but that'll be fine. All right, put a lid on this, put it in the fridge, and then we're going to work on these vegetables. Something I thought would be fun, and any of you who's watching, please make some suggestions for me. I thought it might be kind of cool to play a game with the live stream while we do this sometimes. But like, what's a game that you can play with people in your chat? Not like a card game or something, but if there's a game I can play with the people in the chat, that's like a word game or something, let me know. Okay, so we've got our chicken in the crock pot with coconut milk, some sugar, our Thai curry paste marinade, and then a little bit of chicken broth just to give me some more liquid. I'm going to put that in the fridge overnight so that the chicken thighs can defrost because they are frozen right now. It's good that I'm cooking for tomorrow because I've kind of been eating frozen food for the last day and a half. Don't tell anybody. If it makes you feel any better, lunch a few days ago for me was my cucumber chickpea salad and some chicken and rice. And then earlier that day I had like eggs. So I felt very healthy that day. Went to the gym, did leg day. It was that kind of day. All right, break out the cutting board. Let's work on these vegetables. And I'll just store them separately. I'll give them their own little Tupperware containers so we can throw them in tomorrow. These vegetables are not going to slow cook all day long with the chicken. Typically, I'll put the crock pot on the 8-hour setting, 6 to 8 hour setting. You will destroy, like a red pepper will turn to mush if you put it in for that long. Potatoes are a little gutsier. You can put them in sooner, and they can be in the heat for longer. Same thing with carrots. They can be in for a little longer. But like this is going to go in maybe the last hour or two so that these are still has some texture. Start with the carrots. Those will be really easy. Grab my big knife. That would be illegal in the UK. Did I say that out loud? Well, there it is. What's up, Callista? You made it. There's no cucumbers, but there are carrots. I like to cut my carrots at like a 45-degree angle so that the medallion is a little bit bigger. I could cut it in just to straight coins, but this way you get sort of a longer oval on the cut. And that especially works well if you're going to saute the carrots. In this case, I'm not. I'm just going to throw them in and let them cook about 2/3 of the way through the time in the crock pot. But pro tip, if you have a bigger surface area, by cutting them into bigger ovals like this, they saute a little bit better because more of them touch the pan, right? At least I think so. Hopefully Gordon Ramsay's not lurking in the chat. He might have a different opinion, but I think that's true. I've been buying my carrots pre-cut lately, but they will keep longer if I get them as whole carrots. I haven't been going through them as quickly recently. So I just went ahead and got them and figured I'd chop them on stream while I hang out with you guys. All right, carrots are done. Next, we'll do the potato. I guess carrots are fine, she says. I know, it's not as exciting as a cucumber. I don't know why a cucumber is so exciting, in my defense. No, I'm looking at this, and this is not actually striking me as a lot for this double recipe that I made. I think I need to cut these medallions in half so that they will spread throughout the whole recipe a little bit more. So let's work on these a bit more. Cleaned my floors recently, and this carrot's going to be cooked, so that's fine. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to cut a lot of these in half, just so that I don't, get halfway through my crock pot recipe, and then you're not running into carrots anymore. I like for my ingredients to be equally distributed. And this is why people sort of roast me when I go to Chipotle. I have this whole Chipotle ritual when I get a bowl, and I'll spread everything out and make sure that it's, because I don't want to get a mouthful of just cheese and then a mouthful of guacamole. I want to get a little bit of everything in every bite, right? Not buying them pre-cut is putting some poor carrot cutting robot out of a job. Yeah, I getting them pre-cut is definitely more convenient. That's a nutty leg day. I unashamedly skip legs. I haven't done leg day a lot in the last couple of years, to be honest. I haven't done it as consistently as I need to. But I've been trying to put it back into the rotation. It is important foundationally for the other things that you want to do. And I find that while I've managed to stay in pretty good shape, I sit a lot because of my job and because of working on music. And so, but Jacob, I know you've been running too, so it's not like you're not using your legs. Like your legs are engaged. You exercise your legs. You're just not doing leg day for lifting. That's fine. You've still been getting a lower body workout from the other things that you do. A mouthful of just cheese is pretty lit. It can be. It depends on who you talk to. But like at Chipotle, I don't want just a mouthful of whatever that like white jack cheese is that they use. It's a garnish to me. Like I want the whole fiesta at all times. I want guacamole and rice and beans and fajita vegetables with their marinade and some Tabasco sauce. I want that in every bite, you know. I want something I could dip my chip into and have the entire experience. Yeah, that looks a little better. I should spread out the dish a little bit more. Okay, on to the potato. Everybody has, I'm going to dice this potato. People have different methodologies for this, but I'll show you mine. I think I read about this one time, a couple years ago. I'm going to cut the potato in half. We're going to cut each of those halves in half. And then actually just do the same thing again. So each of these halves kind of has a second layer. Didn't do a very good job on that one. Okay. And then we just do this into kind of strips. It's almost like potato chips. It's almost like French fries this way. You get these long strips, and then all you've got to do is cut through those, and you have a nice dice. Carrots are not in the VeggieTales theme song. That's true. Are cucumbers, though? I mean, I know Larry the Cucumber is there playing the tuba, but I don't think cucumbers aren't actually mentioned in the lyrics. If you like to talk to tomatoes, if a squash can make you smile, if you like to waltz with potatoes up and down the produce aisle. Yeah, no, there's no a cucumber appears in the music video, in the intro, but a cucumber is not mentioned lyrically. So that's a gray area for me, Callista. Since I'm not going to use these potatoes until tomorrow, I'm going to put them in a container with some cold water. It'll keep them from turning brown overnight. Not my friends sending me Facebook messages that I can't check right now. So yeah, if anybody can think of a good word game, just some way to sort of interact with chat a little bit more, let me know. Otherwise, how was everybody's day? Like I said, I don't have a whole lot to talk about this evening. I am excited about this music video shoot coming up this weekend. Without giving away too much, we had to find a spot that had good sunset. And we found a gorgeous spot. And at first I didn't think it was going to work out. I went to a couple of places. I drove all the way to downtown Fort Worth on my own on a Sunday afternoon. And, you know, the sunset's at 5:30 now. So I was running out of light. And the first couple of places I checked, I couldn't get access to. I thought it was going to be easy, and it wasn't. And then the last one, as it goes, was actually better than the first two I was looking at anyway. And I could get access. So super excited. Sent that to the team. Yeah, this one should work. Oh, Jacob has transmogrified himself to Instagram. Bro, I got you picture-in-picture right now on my phone. I need more angles. Camera on the ceiling, and we never watch again. So I've thought about this. I can actually use my external camera, my DSLR, and I can put it on a tripod, and I can use it as an input on my laptop. But then I'm not sure about simultaneously streaming to both YouTube and Instagram. I may have to do it in OBS and set up a scene that's set up in vertical so that everything is arranged. So that actually what you're describing might be possible. I just haven't figured it all out yet. And for reasons you're already aware of, chasing that down is not at the top of my priority list right now, but I would like to do it. I think it would be neat. Okay, potatoes are done. Gonna get these chilling in some cold water, put them in the fridge so they don't turn brown overnight. I think I got that trick from my mom. Thanks, Mom. that, slip it in the fridge. And then our red pepper. So I watched like a tutorial recently about how to do this and kind of core it. And I forget a little bit of the particulars. I've done it a couple of times, but I don't do it often enough for it to be in my muscle memory quite yet. If I remember right, you cut off the bottom. I'm using a smaller knife to do this, so that then you can kind of run a line up the side. It's like field stripping a deer, dude. That way, you can kind of pry it open, right? And then I can just sort of cut around that core, since I already have an entry point. And there we go. The core is mostly separated, not perfect, but there it is. And now I can just work with the flesh of the fruit. It's another thing that feels weird to call it a fruit. Tomatoes are technically a fruit. Peppers are technically a fruit. But I'm not exactly going to bite into one of these the next time I'm at a picnic just raw dogging the thing. So, you know, but it's a fruit. It has seeds. Hang on, I got to catch up on some Instagram comments here. You should get Questions for Humans cards by Dr. Deloney. Always interesting things to talk about. Jacob, ask one of the Thanksgiving ones. Okay, Jacob says, I just drew one. All right, here we go. We have we have a conversation topic now. What is your favorite side dish that never shows up at your Thanksgiving, but you wish it would? Oh. Well, see, like my favorite Thanksgiving theme, and by the way, feel free to answer that in the chat. I would love to hear your guys's too. But again, the question is, what is your favorite side dish that never shows up at your Thanksgiving, but you wish it would? So my favorite Thanksgiving themed side dish is typically already there, right? I just like some good stuffing, honestly. Maybe it's because I enjoy carbs a little too much, but I just like some good stuffing. But a non-Thanksgiving themed side dish, really have to think about that. I always, guacamole is always great, although I don't know what you would pair that with on Thanksgiving. It's not like, I guess you could eat guacamole with cornbread. Let's see. I love a good, like some bao buns or like some chicken satay, but that's more of a appetizer. Those are more just like Thai and Asian appetizers. Side dish. I don't think about side dishes that much in my life. All right, you guys got to help me out here. What do you think? Finally, somebody taught me the correct way to cut a red bell pepper. Well, I'm glad I could be of service. I had to YouTube it myself. I think I got that one from a tutorial I watched a couple of months ago. Saag paneer and naan bread, but that's showing up at most of our Thanksgiving. Well, guess who I'm going to hang out with on Thanksgiving? Because that's beautiful. Dude, yeah. Some naan, some Indian side dishes at Thanksgiving, and really any Indian entree, any Indian main dish can be a side dish if it's just in smaller quantities and you're just dipping in there. For the longest time, nobody baked mac and cheese at our Thanksgiving. 2 years ago, Rachel and I added it and perfected it. That's exciting. I don't have a good method for fancy mac and cheese at all. I literally just will like make Kraft mac and cheese on occasion. Why not? You just used to eat an onion like an apple when you were little. Yeah, no, the mac and cheese, that's a good one. Okay, here's one. I am not a fan at all of green bean casserole. I need to use a bigger knife to actually slice these. This is tedious. There we go. I'm not a big fan at all of green bean casserole because canned green beans kind of make me gag. But I do like some good sauteed green beans, right? Fresh, crispy, snappy green beans. You saute them in some olive oil with some garlic and salt, or maybe some soy sauce. That works too. I think that would be a great Thanksgiving side item. But here in the United States, we have an unhealthy obsession with casseroles that I think really goes back to the Great Depression and World War II. We never really broke ourselves of that habit. Makes me think about that line in, what is it, Age of Ultron, when somebody asks Steve Rogers if he likes living in the future. He's like, well, the food's a lot better. We used to boil everything. Think about that often. Green bean casserole has grown on me. I'm such an adult now. I'm rebelling on that one. Now, like, if somebody fixes me a plate and plops it down on there, you know, and I'm at somebody else's Thanksgiving, like, yeah, I'm gonna eat it. I can handle it. But I had a bad experience with green bean casserole when I was a kid. It was one of those, like, good old country, you're not leaving the table till you finish your plate situations with the parents and the grandparents. I was at that table for a long time. A really long time. In my opinion, anything green bean related is not a Thanksgiving dish. Oh, Callisto with the hot take. Anything green bean related is not a Thanksgiving dish. Interesting. So one of my favorite things that my family does make is what my mom calls a 5-cup salad. And it's not a salad at all. It's not healthy. It's shredded coconut, marshmallows, cranberries, mandarin oranges, and there's like one other thing, like lemon juice or something that really makes it stick together. Actually, no, it might be cream cheese or sour cream. It's sour cream, which sounds crazy. I'm not a fan of sour cream in general, but as an ingredient in that, it works because it's so neutral that it absorbs the sweetness of all the other things, the marshmallows and stuff. And the coconut, it's actually pretty great. It's like a little dessert that complements your cranberry sauce really well. Bro, that's ambrosia. Oh, is that a common recipe? I've never seen anyone make it outside of literally my family. So that's cool. Wait, did Sam just say he likes ambrosia? If that's what I just described, then yeah, that stuff is great. My mom makes it just about every year. Since I won't be home for Thanksgiving, though, I don't think they're really even doing Thanksgiving dinner. It's just mom and grandpa. So I think they're just going to go to a restaurant or something and save her some work. All right. All opinions about food are no. No. We were just talking about that. My mom loves it typically made with yogurt. Okay, so that would actually be great. I could see it working really well with maybe a vanilla Greek yogurt. That would be cool. Abby says yes when I can find the recipe. Abby, what recipe are we talking about? Abby, but have you had homemade green bean casserole? I hated it until I had it homemade. I mean, yes, my mom tends to make it most years. And she puts the crispy onion straws on top. And because I'm an absolute punk, what I'll do is I'll just kind of glide on past the oven and steal a French fried onion again and again and again. Oh, no, that was my uncle. Yeah, so I don't have, so according to my uncle who's watching on YouTube, I used to eat onions as a child like they were apples. I don't remember this. I don't have a marked memory of this. I believe you. But it's not filtering to the top right now. Abby says I'm making business deals in the chat. You know, I respect the hustle. Yes, this is between people who have taste buds. So in high school, we found out that I'm a super taster. A super taster is someone who I guess has, either they have more sensitivity to the different flavor, like chemicals in food, or it's that they have like more taste buds per square inch on their tongue. And you test it by, they had these chemical strips that was like a harmless chemical, but it was a bitter chemical that if you could taste it, you were deemed a super taster. Some people in the class could not, I could. So I fall back on that anytime there's like a food that falls on the base side of the pH scale that's really bitter. and it affects me more than it seems to affect other people, I'm like, you must not be a super taster because I'm in my feels about this weird root that I just ate or whatever it is. But I have a pretty wide palate now because I really like ethnic and international foods. Um, so maybe it's worked to my advantage. You know, maybe there's a little Anthony Bourdain in there, just discovering all the flavors of life. Abby says, have you seen those reels of that girl that does the onion boils? I don't even like onions that much and I want to try it. I don't even know what an onion boil is, but send me a link because now I'm intrigued. I don't know, dude. Jacob says, the last three things I've heard you super taste were all just, is there clove in this? Well, see, here's the thing. Being a super taster doesn't mean that I have like learned all of the flavors well enough to identify them, right? It's like someone who has the raw talent to be a good mixing engineer, but hasn't trained themselves to hear all the frequencies yet. Like the raw talent is there, but I haven't developed it to be able to say, oh, cloves, thyme, cinnamon, star anise. Yes, that's what I'm picking up, and just a hint of ginger. I haven't gone through the black belt training of tasting all of those things individually in order to call them out. Black licorice, sage, no. But I do know that I like more interesting, more complex flavor profiles, just as evidenced by, like if I'm going to go out and eat, I would rather go to Kava or a Thai restaurant or get Vietnamese or something instead of like, I don't know, what do most people get when they go out to eat? Like fried chicken or something? I'm like, or burgers. I'm like, dude, I can get a burger is very one-dimensional to me unless you get a really good one that has like some bacon jam and some interesting cheese and like a house-made aioli on it or something. You know what I'm saying? Now, I grew up in the suburbs. Jacob, you know this. I grew up in the suburbs, so I don't have any problem with some Domino's pizza or a McDonald's hamburger. Okay, I came up in the burbs of the Midwest, right? Code Red Mountain Dew and Doritos and fast food are fine with me, but if I flip that part of my brain off, I lean the other way. bro, I'm just messing with you. That chai did have clove in it. Sarah's my witness. I've heard it's a real thing. British people must be all super tasters because they gotta keep everything bland. So that's crazy, right? Like, yeah, British people eating. We got to have some beans in the morning. This reminds me of my mother's fiffle faffle with French fried brickle brackle. Sorry, I'm making fun of British people now, but yeah, like really bland food. But think about this, right? They had subsisted on bland food for so long. Why do you think that their ancestors started wars over spices, right? Interesting. Okay. Peppers. Onions. Not onions. Carrots. Okay, the last, the final boss here is the remaining half of my red onion from last week. You guys know how I feel about this. All right, I'm gonna go no goggles. All right, Uncle John's gotta go back to work. Thanks for jumping in. It's good to see you. I gotta conquer this onion. Normally I would put on goggles for this, but no, I'm gonna just send it. That outside part's a little wilted, but I think it'll be okay. The trick is to do this fast, right? I've heard turning on water helps. I don't know if that's actually true. All right, here we go. It has begun. You know that part of Jumanji where the kid that ends up in Dwayne The Rock Johnson's body is like, don't cry, don't cry, don't cry? That's how I'm feeling right now. You gotta keep it together. Everything's fine so far. Everything's fine. And maybe because this onion, the first half of it was cut a week ago, maybe the strength of it has died down as it's languished in my fridge and, cold jail for a week. Yeah, this isn't that bad. I think I'm going to be okay. This is going to be good. Abby started eating honey recently, so we're all just leveling up, right? Have you done that again since you told me about it? Got to go wearing swimming goggles. So, Katie, the last couple of times I've had to cut onions on stream, I did put on goggles. They weren't swimming goggles. They were my, okay, I'll go get them. I have to show them to you. You got me talking about, I'm such a geek. You got me talking about the goggles again, and now I've got to bring them up. So these goggles are some props that I've been working on for another music video shoot that probably is not going to happen until next year now. Just some logistics have been shuffled around. But let me go get these things. I'm happy with my work. I'll be back. So I recently watched a bunch of tutorials about how to weather props for things like movies and short films and music videos that are set in post-apocalyptic worlds or set in the desert, long time ago, a historical setting. And so I was working on these recently, really gashed them up. I'll show them to all three streams here. Used a wash of Elmer's white glue and water with some Fuller's Earth to really get it in there. Did sort of a paint, not an ink wash, but a paint wash on them, really kind of distressed them. And then I did the same thing with this scarf so that it really looks like it's been through the ringer. So when you put these things together, this is either going to be really dope or really dorky. But when you put these things together, you get this nice, like, weathered thing going on. Right? Get that there. And then these things, I know I look like I'm ready to go scavenge supplies from an abandoned oil refinery or something, right? So, but I was really happy with how this turned out because I had some failures in the process. And I was watching one tutorial in particular was with Adam Savage, the guy that was on Mythbusters. He did a set tour on the set of the Apple TV show Silo, and that's set in like a post-apocalyptic, post-nuclear world. And between that and some really talented prop makers and cosplayers on YouTube, I got some good tips because I've said it before, but few things take me out of the moment more than props that are too clean in a TV show or a video or a piece of narrative fiction that's supposed to be set somewhere dirty and gritty, whether it's Middle Earth or whether it's the, some desolate version of the future. If you tell me where the baklava is from, I'll make the casserole for free. Oh, dude, Sarah, yeah, you guys always have the baklava hookup. Wow, bro, those goggles make you look like you want more from this life. Jacob is over here trying to leak song lyrics on live stream, and I love it. Here, starting pretty soon, I probably am going to start doing some audio leaks on the stream. Should I do one right now? I've got all three of my devices are being used, so I don't know how I would do it. My phone, my tablet, and my laptop are all over here streaming to different platforms. How would I? Actually, I do. I do have a way to leak some audio. I can leak you a little piece of one song. I'm gonna leak you a little piece of the first song. So most of the people that are here have probably already heard it because a lot of you were involved in the first music video shoot for it. But I'll play a little bit for you on the stream now. Let me catch up on my comments really quick, and then we'll do that. So there's a song. One of the first singles that's going to release early next year is called "Through the Night." It's one of those straight-ahead pop tunes I was talking about, and man, it's got this kind of like electro-pop EDM influence, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll leak some of that here in a second. I'll just play it from a different tab. But let me catch up on these comments. Oh my goodness, you guys are so active. I love it. My coworker handed me a gingerbread chai and told me it was a gingerbread latte. Well, let's go. Wait, aren't Jacob and Sarah the ones, the place that they get the good baklava from? Yeah, no, I had actually told her about that. I forget even. It's because we were talking about how Abby was allergic to honey, and she is walking out her healing, and that really and truly has improved from what she told me recently. And I was like, I'm so sad for you because baklava is one of the best things in the world. And then I told them that you guys had that hookup from the really good spot. So that's kind of how we tumbled into that conversation. Leak, 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 sing it a cappella. Sing it a cappella. I can sing it a cappella. I don't, what key is that song even in? I'm just going to leak some of the audio here. Let me grab. Tell me if you can hear this. I'm going to just crack it open in a Dropbox window on my laptop. And if I play it loud enough through the speakers, I think you'll get some. The audio is going to be trash, but that'll make it a little bit more fun, right? All right, let me just go ahead to this chorus here. Tell me if you can hear this. Okay, that's all you get for now. Which, by the way, Sarah's here in the stream. Sarah has a song releasing at midnight. Can I say the name? Are we talking about the name? Have we said that on social media yet, Sarah? I don't want to leak something I'm not supposed to, but you do have a song. I think you have because you've been posting about it every day this week. You put out more. You even leaked part of the chorus the other day. I'm going to tell them the name. So here we are. I've known about the song for the last 6 or 9 months or so. So Sarah's new single, Dear Martha, is cracking open all streaming platforms here in about 2 hours. It's going to hit. So go check that out. Go follow Sarah Cloudfelter on all the streaming platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, the whole 9 yards. That comes out at midnight. And I've heard it. I've heard it at many different forms and phases over the last handful of months. So excited. Congratulations that's dropping. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to pin that comment. It's about Jesus talking to Martha, but Martha is everyone. Martha is you. Okay, so my vegetables are all prepped for tomorrow. I will add them by degrees as that crock pot is cooking. Until then, into the refrigerator, all of these things are going to go. My dinner tonight is going to be a lot simpler than what I just cooked, or what I would just prepped. I'll really be cooking it tomorrow. Sarah Smith Cloudfelter. So if you want to find her on your streaming platforms, it is Sarah Smith Cloudfelter. Okay, true. Jesus was talking to me like I was Martha. Well, we all need that talk every once in a while. Ask me how I know. They will also hear it in many different forms because we're dropping 3 different versions. So that's true. They're dropping a full version and then just a piano and voice version. And then there's one. What is the other one? Is the other one orchestral? You're going to have to clarify for me. I knew there were multiple versions, and I'm pretty sure I've heard all of them, but I've heard them in different stages of the process. All right, guys. I told you tonight was going to be a quicker live stream. Tomorrow, that stuff is actually going to get cooked. Watch my story, and I'll post what the final product looks like. And you want to serve it with or over rice. It would go fine with noodles, too. But I'm just going to start putting the rest of this stuff away. I have a little bit more music work to do this evening. And then I think I'm maybe just about another 30 minutes of music work. And then probably going to play some games tonight. It's been a minute since I've done that. And I had a busy week, so I'm going to decompress here soon after I get all this stuff put away. So thank you to everyone who has joined on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. It's fun to hang out with you. As always, we did a little bit of a music leak tonight. So if people weren't on the live stream, they're going to have to comb back through. If people weren't in the live stream, they're going to have to comb back through and find that timestamp to hear what we leaked, even at bad quality. We'll do that some more with some of the other songs coming up on the album. There's just a ton of stuff going on, and it's taking a lot of my bandwidth to keep up with all of the logistics, from video shoots to production and mixes to visuals and release planning and all of that good stuff. But I've had some people helping me, which is always something I'm thankful for. So I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Until next time, onward and upward.